Facebook family. Tiffany here, and I'm sharing this screen with my lovely sister Shawna. We just had a fun little sister day today. It was quite a special treat for us to actually spend some sister time together. Rarely do we get to step away from our busy lives and just have some one-on-one time. So if you have a sister, I highly recommend you do it. And if you don't have a sister, then get a sister from another mister or a soul sister. They do just as well. Sure. So we were actually just having a conversation about the last year and you know, what's taken place and how quickly the time is flying by. And what we realized is that actually a year ago, almost to the day, plus or minus a few days, we were together in Edinburgh and we were attending the Art of Dying course in Scotland with Somananda and Mel as our lovely organizer. And we were about to dive into the course and that experience that we had together and what an amazing sister trip it ended up being. And I thought, you know what, let's capture this on camera and let's share it with our Facebook family, because I feel like the Art of Dying course is something that you can hardly express in words. It's so profound and it's just so life-changing that we wanted to kind of share our testimony and what it meant to us and how it really impacted our life. So I know for me personally that going on this so I had already completed several courses with Somananda Tantra School. I think I was 2 years onto my spiritual path at that point and probably completed like 8 or 10 courses. And of course, as with any spiritual aspirant, you always just really long and crave for your family and your friends to get on the spiritual path, because you know what it can do for them, you know what it can provide in their life, you know that it can end a lot of the suffering and it can provide a lot of answers, and it's very, very profound and transformative. So of course I really longed for my sister to be on the path with me. And when she told me this course came up on the website and she told me, you know what, I think I really want to take this course, the topic really interested her. And so I was just over the moon, and so we immediately started planning. She basically hired an army to take care of her family and her kids while she was away for a week. And we went to Scotland together. So for me, it was very, very special just to have a family member there, and for her to see with her own eyes and hear with her own ears the teachings, and to see Soma in action, and just to dip her toe in the waters of Tantra. It was really special to me in that way. But of course the teachings were amazing too. But enough about me. I wanted to pass, obviously, the microphone over to my sister, and I would love to get, because this was her first and only course at the time that she took with Somananda Tantra School, so I would love to get her perspective about what did it do for you, like how did it open your eyes, what did you walk away with? And
yeah, so after getting all the stars aligned to be able to get away for 6 days with my children in school and a husband that's running a company and everything aligned, and so it was just meant to be. So that was very exciting, and to be able to do this journey with my sister was something I'd been dreaming about for a long time. And the course, I mean, just short of saying it was amazing is just not enough. It really opened my eyes to the spiritual teachings of Tantra, but also with regard to the Art of Dying, it was about, so many people have like this, it's so, it's like a negative thing to talk about dying or death. It's very taboo, or it's morbid, and nobody wants, don't talk about dying, you talk about living. And I came to understand and learn that talking about dying is actually very important, and to live like you are dying is very important. To practice like you are dying is very important. To understand why you're dying, where you're going is very important, because so many people get to that final yard line and then comes nothing but terror, because they've never talked about it, they've never visited the subject, they've never studied it, they've never prepared for it, and all of a sudden you're going into the unknown completely unprepared, and this is just a terrifying experience for most of the humans on the planet. So to learn that it is something that we can prepare for and study and grow to understand on where we're going in the afterlife was a profound change for me. It was not only fascinating, but it was something that resonated, and it made death seem not so scary when you really broke it down. And that was my biggest takeaway. And also during the time that we were attending, we had a grandfather who at the time we thought was dying. He's actually still alive and well today, so that's a blessing, but at the time we thought was dying, and it was very interesting to see how we could help people through their journey of dying and the afterlife. Those are some really amazing tools to acquire to be able to help others in our lives that are going through the dying process, who haven't had the privilege of learning these skills and these tools that were taught to us by Soma. So there was a million takeaways, but honestly those were the two that stick out the most with regard to, the Art of Dying course itself.
Yeah. And I feel like the course, a more apt title would be The Art of Living, really, because you learn how to live better and a more fulfilling life by understanding dying and death. And it just completely, I think, abolishes all of the stigmas around death, and you realize that there's actually a process of death. And the afterlife, there's actually a process. There's timelines and what the soul goes through and what the physical body goes through and all of these different things. It was just fascinating to really understand it on a deeper level. And as Shawna mentioned, we were kind of in the midst of this sort of sad family time where our grandfather, who we cherish and love very deeply and has been a major part of our life, was sick, and we thought that it was the end for him. He was actually preparing for his own death as well. And we both just felt so unprepared, not only to manage the emotions when you lose someone that you love, but also how can we help this man to die without fear? How can we take his hand and guide him through the process
and the transition?
Yeah, so this Art of Dying course really came at such an amazing time for us and gave us so many tools to help our loved one, our grandfather, to walk towards a more dignified death and a more peaceful death. For me, I just walked away feeling content and prepared, not only for my own impending death, whenever that may be, but also content and prepared to help someone that I loved and cherished go through the process a little bit more skillfully, a little bit more consciously. And yeah, I feel like that was a great gift.
I mean, it's a lot of information too. It's a very saturated course of information regarding all aspects. Meditations you can use to prepare for death, meditations you can use during the time of death, meditations you can use for those that are dying, ways that you can help yourself before or during death, help others after their death. There was just so much information, and it was just so inspiring, really. Information that you can't gain anywhere else in the world. And so that for me is precious. It was a profound course, and I would take it again, and I will if it comes to America. Yeah. I will take it again.
Yes.
So
I wouldn't hesitate to repeat it as well a few more times. Yeah, so we wanted to share our experience and our little story with you. If you are thinking about the Art of Dying, it's don't think.
Highly recommended.
Yeah.
You won't regret it. It's so informational, so inspiring, and so much knowledge that you obtain. It's worth every minute that you can get to it.
Yeah, agreed. So, from sunny Arizona, thanks for listening and tuning in.